best. A quick thank you to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, Duck Machine, Try Again 95, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Budic Joel, Germanchemist, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Mist. Thank you very much. Story number 1. They breathe extreme corrosives and sweat diamagnetic solvents. Written by SlowAD2584. Humans from Earth Class A Death World. Stay away from them. Just standing in a room with them will melt your eyeballs. You know that extremely corrosive compound, molecular O2. Yeah, that stuff. So horribly reactive it oxidizes anything it touches, even steel. We use it in heavy industry under strict hazmat-grade XXX control procedures. If it escapes into the workplace, it would literally dissolve any worker in the room. The very aluminium in their blood, becoming aluminium oxide in their veins near instantly. Yeah, that stuff. Planet Earth has 21.5% of that just floating in the atmosphere, due to a horrible plant life on that death world releasing it as part of their photosynthesis. The humans, they just breathe it, actually use it in their metabolic process. How does that not make free radicals causing molecular mayhem in the cells and DNA molecules is not yet understood. Perhaps they have an incredible scene-sense process, an error-correcting DNA factors that simply outpace the certain corrosion ongoing in their bodies. It seems like too much work, really. I don't know how they can survive with that stuff. Then there is that other industrial chemical, dihydromonoxide, the dreaded H2O. Its diamagnetic properties means it dissolves and dilutes, well, pretty much anything it comes into contact with. It also has that horrible surface tension that ensures that once it enters your lattice bone structure, it latches on and actually pulls into us by some sort of horror show process called capillary action. And before long, we are melted mush. Well, humans sweat the stuff when they get too hot. The fact their bodies are 70% H2O. Yep, humans, literal industrial hazmat toxic waste monsters. Why can't their bodies evolve to use more sensible chemical compounds, like the much more stable fluoric acid oceans and the phosphine gas atmospheres of the rest of the galaxy's inhabited worlds? End of story. Story number 2. What they didn't tell you about FTL flight. Written by SlowAD2584. The human test pilot, flights, and prototype engineers were all at the restaurants at the end of the proving grounds. It was a bulk freighter that suffered a motivator malfunction and broke down. Forever. On the literal far end of interstellar proving grounds, the freighter was claimed by the resident human madman and converted into a space bar, where pilots and engineers could go to blow off steam. Such behavior was not permitted within the proving grounds themselves, for obvious reasons. The proving grounds was a place above the galactic plane, with a nice view of the galaxy tilting upwards as a background, cordoned off by the galactic hegemony. A literal piece of nowhere where prototype ships and equipment can be tested far from anything or anyone that could be harmed by such reckless high-energy experimentation. The testing grounds was called by the humans White Sands High, and the name sort of caught on amongst the other species. You may be wondering about the names. These are test pilots and prototype engineers. They like their code words and their call signs, and the engineers in particular love their nerdy references. It was an odd coincidence that the test pilots and bleeding-edge technology engineers from any technological species all seemed to share the right stuff archetype. Once language barriers were overcome, they were all very much the same sort of crazy. "Here, have another blaster, Zaphod," Chuck said. Chuck Yeager was the call sign of the lead human test pilot, first slot to try and break the speed of light in a purely human-manufactured craft. The Fod Beeblebrox was an alien space engineer physicist, very smart. He had 3 arms and 2 heads, so of course that was what the pilots made his call sign. The blaster handed to Zophod, who had some chemical concoction of yuck that was the alien's version of hard whiskey. It was called something, but the menu listing got scratched out and it was renamed Pan-Galactic Goggle Blaster. Because, well, of course it was. Thank you, Chuck, my boy. The human looked at each other discreetly. This was a good sign. When Zavot started getting all familiar with the humans, that meant he was good and blasted. Zavot was a technological savant from one of the most ancient, high-tech civilizations. He knew the ins and outs of practically everything spaceship-related. He was also a bit of an off-putting nerd to his own species, and was a bit of a loner. So he started hanging around the humans who actually got along great with him. The pilots and engineers were good listeners and always paid for his blasters, and Zavot loved to get drunk. And when Zavot got drunk, he started to talk. Advanced technological secrets kind of talk. So, what's new, Zavot? Hey, I have an idea. Tell us something about our science that we got just plain wrong. That's always a good laugh for you, ain't it? Ha! Sure is, kiddo! I mean, you humans still think math and time are, like, real or something. Math is just a language you agreed to use, and time is just silly. There just is no past nor future. There is only now, and now, and now. And yeah, I'm just right now. Your whole relativity nonsense is just difference in data streams. You kids got a lot to learn. The engineers hated being told that. It undermined 85% of all Earth science over the last 600 years. But the engineers still used math and time out of routine, habit, and convenience. The relativity being wrong stung the worst, though. The humans thought that they were onto something profound. The first practical flights at 95% the speed of light proved it wrong. There was no time dilation at all. Relativity's flaw was the, now as seen, simplistic notion that what you see is what you get, when really what they saw, the video stream of electromagnetic data, was the thing itself that was messed with to cause the relativistic paradoxes due to the differing speeds and the limiting bandwidth of the speed of light. Everything happened when and where it happens. What the crawl of light speed shows a distant observer cannot be trusted. Nah, Zavot, we've all heard that before. Come on, don't you think of anything different? It's not cool, you know, continuing to rub the math and time and relativity thing in the engineers' faces. But go on, hit us with something new. We can take it, Chuck said in a fake drunken slur. No human was the least bit intoxicated tonight, and many recording devices were on and streaming data dumps to caches embedded in the freighter's hull. Zavod was on a roll. Tonight was looking to be huge. Zavod looked around, a bit dizzy, sitting in his chair. Oi, Jaeger, my boy, I heard you were the first to pick and try the superluminal test flight in a few weeks. Don't do it, kiddo, it'll mess with you. Chuck's face went a bit pale. Why, Zavod? Is there something we got wrong? This was huge. Was Zavod about to lecture the humans about FTL physics? This info would be priceless. Yeah, kiddo, they got most of it wrong. Your young species so eager to learn, to achieve. Right now, your engineers know just enough to be a danger to the pilots and themselves. No offense, Zoford said, as he realized half of the humans were very engineers that he was referring to. See, they figured out a way to cheat the luminal barrier using, I don't know, was it referential frame shift? No, gravimetric, angular momentum transfer. Yes, bingo! Oh, that takes me back. The old gyro precession kicker. Hard to keep your lunch on those ships. He beamed when he saw the engineers' faces react. He didn't notice how the engineers frantically whispering into tablets in the dark corners of the bar. Yeah, that'll work to get you over the hump for sure. But there is something you boys don't know. It's the reason why we never see anything traveling faster than light. And it's why nothing, never, ever comes back. The humans all tried to look chill, like they were only vaguely interested in what Zavot was saying. But you could have heard a pin drop. And it's not what you think it is. It's, weird over there, past the luminal limit. Sure, you can't really see anything. But what's worse, mass momentum vectors get inverted. You know how it takes more and more thrust to get closer and closer to the speed of light. Well, kiddo, it takes you more and more energy to slow down on the other side. Sure, you can cheat your way past the limit, but then you'll need near infinite reverse thrust just to station keep a certain speed. and no ship can cheat its way back across the barrier. I mean to say, sure, you can extra speed cheat, but then how do you, how do you extra stop cheat? Yeah, it's weird over there, as I said. There is a beautiful symmetry in the universe enforcing its laws. You are allowed to get clever, but you get just enough loopholes to hang yourself with. My drink is empty. A fresh glass was pressed into the hand of his third arm. Zavod was still too drunk to realize just how silent the bar was. Chuck Yeager was skilled with his, the gentle nudge to the sofa, talking some more. So, on my flight, when I punched through, Zavod looked sad. My boy, you'll find yourself sliding faster and faster towards infinite speed, already at max acceleration, because you're still foolishly right there at the limit line. Trying to go full reverse will just burn out your thrusters. It's a one-way trip, just a luminal boom. Say your hurrahs quick, and whoop, you're gone like beyond the entire universe, and the billions more universes beyond. That is why we never see anything moving faster than light. They all are instantly far, far away. Infinite speed is a hell of a thing to overcome. Better to just Zavod passed out and collapsed on the countertop. The engineers had a lot of work to do. Test flights were cancelled. A lot of math to talk amongst themselves about, I guess. The humans gently carried Zavod Beeblebrox to his living space and placed him in a bed to sleep it off. It was the least that they could do. They felt bad kind of taking advantage of Zavod like this, but consoled themselves that old Zavod was indeed a pal and was always welcome amongst the humans. And the restaurant at the end of the universe, end of the proving grounds. End of story.